It's the Daily Dispatch, in discussion with Darren Mann.
One of the most popular decisions made by a High Court judge came in East London just last week. Clarke Abrahams, found guilty of murdering his wife Angelique Clarke Abrahams 2 years earlier. It was a lengthy case. It was a case with many twists and turns. It was a case that even included testimony by their then 6-year-old son. But eventually, Clarke Abrahams was found guilty, to what I'm guessing was the happiness and approval of Angelique's family and friends. One of her friends joining us now on Daily Dispatch in discussion with Darren Mann. Maria Clarke, you were also a witness during the course of the trial. How do you feel about the outcome?
We're quite satisfied with the outcome. It's not finished yet. Sentencing is still pending on the 20th of this month, which we're quite eager to hear what the sentence would be. But we are quite happy and satisfied with the outcome and the proceedings and everything so forth. We're so happy with Nikki Turner. She was exceptional in this whole case. Truly a blessing.
That's your prosecutor?
Yes.
And what sort of sentence would you describe as being fitting?
I definitely would say a life sentence, because he took a life. He didn't just take a life, he took a friend, a daughter, a mom. Now a son is without a mom and without a dad. So I think it would be appropriate to say life sentence. Everybody's looking forward to that, eh? Everybody's looking forward to just hearing the word life sentence. That would be the best decision.
Now, you worked for a shelter where Angelique herself worked part-time. Let us take a little look into that relationship. How did that come about? And while you were friends with her, did you pick up any problems that she might be facing?
Yeah, Angelique was always a giving person. She right until the end, she always thought about others before herself. And she also started a little project with Rags and Riches, doing farewell dresses and nails and hair for girls that couldn't afford anything. And she joined Helping Those in Need. That's my organization. And we look after the word itself says helping those in need. So whatever the need would it be financial, it would be emotional, it would be whatever the need would be, we would obviously then see to that need. And she joined us, and she was with us for about a year on and off. And through there already, we noticed quite a lot of conflict between her and Abrahams. And we sort of were counseling, and we would always be a listening ear and always take care of their needs.
Was he working there at the same time?
Both of them joined us because he was the driver. So what we normally do food parcels, and they would collect the food parcels and they would go house to house blessing families. And we sort of thought that would bring them closer, and it did. But it was an on and off situation. That is how abuse is. It's not consistent. It is on and it's off, and it's on and it's off. And that is why most women don't actually identify it as abuse. They identify it as part of their lifestyle. They get accustomed to it. They don't see a need for it to change because, so it's not consistent. That's what women say. And that is always the red flags. The minute you feel as if something is out of place, but it's not consistent, if it's not making you feel good when it does happen, it's wrong. So therefore, that is a red flag where you should know, you should actually just get out. And obviously, she didn't identify those red flags because we as women, once again, we put our kids first. So we sort of stay in that relationship for the benefit of our kids, to have mom and dad together, mom and dad in the same house, whether mom is happy or not. Mom is happy when the kid is happy. And when the kid is happy, the mom sort of overlooks all the bad qualities. That's what we do as women. We sort of just shield our kids without thinking of ourselves. We put ourselves last. And I think that is what Angelique did, because Janelia was quite close to his dad. And that is what Angelique did. She put her son first. She put his needs first. And she obviously could not bear it anymore. And it was a bit too late. And I'm so glad that she did take the step of doing the protection order and filing for divorce, and asking him to actually just give her space and give her room to think. And she took that step, and he overstepped. He didn't accept her boundaries. He didn't accept her not wanting to be with him, and he lost it. And I think he needs to be punished for that, because you can't just lose it. Imagine if we all just had to have that moment where we lose it. it wouldn't be fair, it wouldn't be okay. And I think a lot more abuse would happen, a lot more cases like this would happen. So personally, as a
Unacceptable.
woman, I would say,
Unacceptable.
identify the red flags, identify when you need to actually just step back and put yourself first for the sake of your kids ultimately. And yeah, identify it and sort it out and just take that bold step. I say it's a bold step for women to step out of a relationship, to actually take that paperwork and get divorced. It's a very, very bold step. And a lot of women, they do it a few times and a few times they go back. But I say don't stop, Even if you're going to go back 50 times, keep going. Like, keep stepping away. Even if you go back, keep stepping away. And I say that to the support system as well. If a woman approaches you and say, I'm in an abusive relationship, but I can't leave, don't shut that person down. Don't say the obvious of, it's so easy to leave. No, it's not easy to leave. It's an emotional battle. It's like depression. It's like saying to someone that's depressed, there's so much to life. Just be happy. And it's not that easy. So I would also just say a message out to everybody that is dealing with a friend, a loved one, a colleague that is going through abuse. Just be there for them emotionally. I know it's tiring from both ends, but just be an ear.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Marion Peake. We're going to be catching up with Maria Clarke within the next few minutes. She is the mother of the late Angelique Clarke Abrahams. Estranged husband Carl Abrahams found guilty of the murder of Angelique this past week. We're going to catch up with grandmama and mother of Angelique Clarke, Maria Clarke, in just a few moments from now. Thank you, Marion.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
Continuing now with the tragic story of Angelique Clarke Abrahams, murdered by her husband as convicted by an East London court last week. We catch up with the mother of Angelique and the grandmother of Angelique's little boy, who actually witnessed his father killing his mother. Maria, thank you for joining us. It's a very painful topic. Tell us what you can remember about the trial and were you happy with the outcome?
It took us 2 full years to get to trial, which was a fight because at the first beginning I thought it was finished because I got no feedback, nothing for nearly a year. And then it started. I had to go to Grahamstown and go meet the advocate, and we had to give our statements. And from there, the progress started. And then I saw light again because I thought, everybody just forgot about my child's case. And then when trial started, it was first his bail hearing, which I was very upset with his bail hearing because I don't feel that he was supposed to get bail. And the way the justice went for his bail hearing, it was for me not fair, according to Angelique, because they put him into a court for bail where they do the traffic fines. He got his bail in a traffic fine court. I mean, you don't do a murder trial by a traffic fine court, which they did do, and he got a 2,000 rand bail. I mean, 2,000 rand for taking a life. He walked out there smiling. His family was smiling when they walked out there with him. And then he was free. And then the court even said to me that he's got the right to see his child.
Hold on a second. He murdered his wife in front of his child, and yet he still had custodial rights to that child. That child who saw his father beat and strangle his mother to death was still to be returned to dad. How often? Once a week? Once a month?
It was up to him. When he wanted to see his child, he had the rights to see his child. I had no rights, neither my child, but he had the rights. I was told by the magistrate from his bail hearing, put your feelings aside. He's allowed to see his child.
Were these supervised visits or unsupervised?
Yes, I had to be there. I had to look in the man that murdered my child's face every time he came to see his child. I had to sit with him.
That must have been a very, very difficult thing to do.
I wanted to get sick. Before he came, I wanted to vomit. My stomach was turning. But what could I do? I had to be strong for my grandson and do it for my grandson.
And what was your grandson's reaction during these visits?
Like a little child, he loves his dad. I'll admit he does love his dad. He knows what his dad done. He knows it's wrong. But he's also a child. He is his father. He loves his father. He's like a little child. He does love his father. And he was happy to see his dad.
Makes it all the more tragic.
You know, for me, it feels very tragic because, I don't know, just because he loves his dad and yet his dad has to go. He's not going to have that father figure in his life.
What sentence are you hoping for?
He took a life and he must get life.
And how are you and the rest of the family rebuilding?
We are very happy. I'm relieved. It's like a mountain's taken off my shoulders. Justice has been served for my child after 2 years fighting. I feel just very sorry that Donilio has now lost a mother and a father. You know, it's tragic. That man didn't think when he done that, what's going to happen to Donilio? Angelique's gone. She's never coming back. He's going to jail. He knew he's going to go to jail, but he didn't think what's going to happen to Donilio. Donilio, for me, it's my main concern at the moment is Donilio. That child is broken for life because the psychologist said to me, Donilio has to go for not counseling. He has to get help for the rest of his life, not just until he finishes school. That child is damaged for life. I mean, at the moment, we can't even do counseling anymore. He's past that stage. Now it's time to go. He has to go see a psychiatrist because he has to go further. They say counseling, there's no more we can do for counseling for him.
Yeah, well, he's seen his father beat up and strangle his mother to death and then get convicted as a murderer.
Yes.
That's going to knock any young kid, and it's a long road back for him. We wish him all the best. We wish you and your family all the best. Thank you for sharing detail with us here on the Daily Dispatch in discussion with Darren Mann.
And please, thank you, everybody that was praying for us and everybody that stood with us and the good Lord above that knew he done it, even if he pleaded not guilty. The God knew he done it. We knew he done it, and he was found guilty. And thank you to Africa Turner and Michelle Beneke who convicted him. Thanks to everybody for getting justice for my child.
That was the Daily Dispatch in discussion with Darren Mann.